Colonel to see you there. Good afternoon, everyone, and you're currently watching Hold Forth. I'm your host, Ruben Vertusio. People in the Philippines doesn't know much about weapons in war, so I'm here to give you more details and information about it. For your information, these are some examples of swords and daggers. The most intimate weapon was the baladao. This was a short, broad dagger with a single-edged leaf-shaped blade like a songil spearhead, and a cross-shaped hilt which was grasped with the blade protruding within the index and middle fingers. It was 20 to 25 centimeters long, with smaller ones and made especially for youngsters, since even a small boy felt naked without one. They were typically decorated with tassels made of silk or hairs, from the bushy tail of the civet cat dyed red, or better, a lock of hair provided by one's own sweetheart. Like other bladed weapons and even working bolos, they were strapped to the wrist for use either by a cord or a tassel called kulili. There were two kinds of swords, kris and kampilan, both words of Malay origin. The kris was a long double-edged blade. Modern specimens run to 60 or 70 centimeters, either straight or wavy, but characterized by an asymmetrical horn-like flare at the hilt end, called kalaw-kalaw, after the kalaw hornbill. The wavy kris was called kiwo-kiwo, and so was an astute, devious man whose movement could not be predicted. Hilts were carved of any solid material, hardwood, bone, antler, even shell, and great Datu warriors had them solid gold or encrusted with precious gay stones. Blades were forged from layers of different grades of steel, which gave them a vined or mottled surface, damascened or watered. But even the best Visayan products were considered inferior to those from Mindanao or Sulu, and those in turn were less esteemed than imports from Makassar or Borneo. Aquina thought the best of them excelled Spanish blades. These are some examples of spears. The spear, bancao, was the most important Visayan weapon. It was carried both for security and ceremony, and it figured not only in warfare but in religious functions and business transactions. The importance of the Visayan spear is indicated by the special vocabulary attached to it. The general term for it was bancao, while a light spear was baro bancao or bancaway or iniris. It fitted with a short shaft. Good spears were kept highly polished, and among them were the most prestigious was the songil, a leaf-shaped blade 30 centimeters long and as wide as a man's hand, sharpened for as much as half its length, knife-like on both edges. These fine spears were thrown only where it was possible to retrieve them. In face-to-face combat, for instance, or from ambush. Even when hunting wild boar, any expensive weapon was thrown with a cord attached to prevent the animal from running off with it. Purpose and causes of wars. Visayan communities had small populations, low levels of production, and unlimited access to natural resources like sea and forest products. Their datus' ability to procure iron and prestigious imports depended on control of the manpower to exploit those resources. Wars were therefore fought to control people rather than territories. They were waged by raids intended to seize slaves outright, to initiate or enforce alliances for trading networks, and to take booty to cover costs in any case. Visayans were therefore willing to swear allegiance to Spanish raiders when it was to their advantage to do so, but were not prepared to resist foreign occupation and annexation of their territory. The best defense against Mangayo attack was to intercept the enemy at sea, but most communities did not have the men-o-war to do so. They would therefore abandon their homes to looting and the torch, and withdraw the hills, returning when danger had passed to rebuild their houses of materials readily available. Indeed, settlements were often located in the interior precisely for security reasons. A native guide told Garcia de Escalante in 1544 that southeastern Mindanao was thickly populated with communities that had withdrawn from the coast because of war, and that Dawis, a large Bohol town opposite Pangalao Island, was completely abandoned following the famous Taranatan raid, only to be resettled as Bacayun many years later. Successful Maya raiders were regarded as popular heroes and enjoyed inter-island reputations. They tattooed in portions to their prowess and were entitled to wear distinctive attire. Their exploits became the stuff of local legend, and the most famous among them were Karanduun, worthy of being memorized in those heroic epics called Kandu. As a Subbanon epic says, Malaat gosay dipaya datu di maglayag layag in translation, it is not fitting that a datu ventures not. Thank you for watching. Good night.